Back then life was going swell and everything was just peachy. Except for the undeniable fact that every single morning my mother would make me a big old bowl of sauerkraut for breakfast. Oh, big bowl of sauerkraut! Every single morning it was driving me crazy. So I says to my mom, I says, "Hey Mom, what's up with all the sauerkraut?" My dear sweet mother, she just looked at me like a cow looks at an oncoming train. She leaned right down next to me. And she said, "It's good for you." Then she tied me to the wall and shoved a funnel in my mouth. Force fed me nothing but sauerkraut till I was 26 and a half years old. That's when I swore that someday, I would get out of that basement, travel to a magical faraway place, where the sun was always shining and the air smelled like warm root beer and the towels were oh so fluffy, where the Shriners and the lepers would play their ukuleles all day long and anyone on the street would gladly shave your back for a nickel. Well, waka waka doo doo, yeah, let me tell you people, it wasn't long at all before my dreams came true. Because the very next day, my local radio station had this contest to see who could correctly guess the number of molecules on Leonard Nimoy's butt. I was off by 3 and still won the grand prize. That's right, a first-class one-way ticket to Albuquerque. Albuquerque. Oh yeah. You know, I'd never been on a real airplane before, but I gotta tell you, it was pretty great. Except I had to sit between these 2 large Albanian women with excruciatingly severe body odor. The little kid in back of me kept throwing up the whole time. The flight attendants ran out of Dr. Pepper and salted peanuts, and the in-flight movie was Biodome with Pauly Shore. Oh yeah, 3 of the airplane engines burned out. We went into a tailspin and crashed into a hillside, and the plane exploded into a giant fireball, and everybody died. Except for me. You know why? Because I had my tray table up, and my seat back in the full upright position. Had my tray table up, and my seat back in the full upright position. Had my tray table up, and my seat back in the full upright position. Ha 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 ha. So I crawled from the twisted, burning wreckage. I crawled on my hands and knees for 3 full days, dragging along my big leather suitcase and my garment bag and my tenor saxophone and my 12-pound bowling ball and my lucky autograph glow-in-the-dark snorkel. Till finally I arrived at the world-famous Albuquerque Holiday Inn, where the towels are oh so fluffy. And you can eat your soup right out of the ashtrays if you want. It's okay, they're clean. So anyway, I checked into my room and I turned down the AC and I turned on the Spectrovision. I just about ate that little chocolate mint on my pillow that I love so very, very much when suddenly there was a knock on the door. Now who could that be? I said, "Who is it?" There's no answer. "Who is it?" There's no answer. "Who is it?" They're not saying anything. So finally I go over and I open the door, and just as I suspected, it's some big fat hermaphrodite with a flock of seagulls haircut and only 1 nostril. Man, I hate it when I'm right. So he bursts into my room and grabs my lucky snorkel, and I'm like, "Hey, you can't have that. That snorkel's been just like a snorkel to me." And he's like, "Tough." And I'm like, "Give it." And he's like, "Make me." And I'm like, "Okay." So I grabbed his leg and he grabbed my esophagus, and I bit off his ear and he chewed off my eyebrow, and I took out his appendix and he gave me a colonic irrigation. Yes, indeed, you better believe it. And somewhere in the middle of it all, the phone got knocked off the hook. And 20 seconds later, I heard a familiar voice. You know what it said? I'll tell you what it said. It said, "If you'd like to make a call, please hang up and try again. If you need help, hang up and then dial your operator. If you'd like to make a call, please hang up and try again. If you need help, hang up and then dial your operator in Albuquerque." Solemn vow right then and there that I would not rest, I would not sleep for an instant until the 1-nostril man was brought to justice. But first I decided to go get some donuts. So I got into my car and I ran over to the donut shop and I walked right up to the guy behind the counter and he goes, "Yeah, got any jelly donuts? He said, no, we're out of jelly donuts. I said, you got any Bavarian cream-filled donuts? And he said, no, we're out of Bavarian cream-filled donuts. I said, you got any cinnamon rolls? And he said, no, we're out of cinnamon rolls. I said, you got any apple fritters? And he said, no, we're out of apple fritters. I said, you got any bear claws? And he said, wait a minute, I'll go check. No, we're out of bear claws. So I said, in that case, what do you have? He said, all I have left is this box of 12 starving crazed weasels. I said, okay, I'll take that. So he gives me the box and I open up the lid and the weasels jump out and immediately latch onto my face and just start biting me all over. And they were just going nuts. They were tearing me apart. You know, it was just about that time that a little ditty started going through my head. I believe it went a little something like this. Ow, ow, get him off me, get him off me, ow, ow, get him off me, ow, 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 get him off me, ow, 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 that hurts, get him off me. So I ran out into the street with these flesh-eating weasels all over my face, waving my arms, just running like a constipated wiener dog. As luck would have it, that's exactly when I ran into the girl of my dreams. Her name was Zelda. She was a calligraphy enthusiast with a side overbite and hair the color of strained peaches. I'll never forget the first thing she said to me. She said, hey, you got weasels on your face. That's when I knew it was true love, and we were inseparable after that. Yeah, we ate together, and we bathed together, we even shared the same piece of mint-flavored dental floss. The world was our burrito. So we got married and bought us a house and had 2 beautiful children, Nathaniel and Superfly. Oh, we were so very, very, very happy. Oh yeah. Until one fateful night, Zelda said to me, she said, sweetie pumpkin, do you want to join the Columbia Record Club? I said, whoa, hold on there, baby. I'm just not ready for that kind of a commitment. So we broke up. I never saw her again. But that's just the way things go. In Albuquerque. Albuquerque. Things started kind of looking up for me after that, because about a week later I finally achieved my lifelong dream. That's right, I got me a part-time job at the Sizzler. I even made Employee of the Month after I put out that grease fire with my face. Yeah, everyone was pretty jealous of me after that. I was getting a lot of attitude. Okay, like one time I was out in the parking lot trying to remove my excess earwax with a golf pencil, when I see this guy Marty trying to carry a big old sofa up the stairs by himself. So I says to him, I says, hey, you want me to help you with that? And Marty, he just rolls his eyes and says, no, I want you to cut off my arms and legs with a chainsaw. So I did. And then he gets all indignant on me. He's like, hey man, I was just being sarcastic. Well, that's just great. How was I supposed to know that? I'm not a mind reader, for crying out loud. Besides, now he has a really cute nickname, Torso Boy, so what's he complaining about? Say, that reminds me of another amusing anecdote. This guy comes up to me on the street and says he hasn't had a bite in 3 days. Well, I knew what he meant, but just to be funny, I took a big bite out of his jugular vein and he's yelling and screaming and bleeding all over, and I'm like, hey, come on, don't you get it? But he just keeps rolling around on the sidewalk bleeding and screaming, ow, 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 ow. You know, just completely missing the irony of the situation. Man, some people just can't take a joke, you know? Anyway, where was I? Kind of lost my train of thought. Anyway, I know it's kind of a roundabout way of saying it, but I guess the whole point I'm trying to make here is I hate sauerkraut. That's all I'm really trying to say. And by the way, if one day you happen to wake up and find yourself in an existential quandary full of loathing and self-doubt and wrapped with the pain and isolation of your pitiful, meaningless existence, at least you can take a small bit of comfort in knowing that somewhere out there in this crazy mixed-up universe of ours, there's still a little place called out. Albuquerque.